Hello, hello! Welcome to the stream. David Snowpack here from Snowpack Games. How is everyone doing? Welcome to Andreas and the Clean, who I've seen in chat already. Andreas says, of course, what else when I said that it's GDExtension stuff we're doing today? Well, the last two streams weren't GDExtension. The last two streams were VR stuff. And I know I last week's stream where I got stuck on that particles thing may have been not the most exciting streaming for you guys and perhaps a little bit annoying, but I stayed stuck on that particles thing for the whole weekend. I spent all of last weekend trying to solve the GPU particles issue we were having in on the Quest. Haven't solved it. I spent like tons of time with RenderDoc and like trying to dig into it. I'm just terrible at rendering things. Like rendering is one of my weaker areas, and like I feel like I made a whole ton of progress digging into the issue, and then like I went and checked it another time and like, oh, it's doing a totally different thing now. I really learned nothing. It was horrible. Anyway, welcome Solo Leveling. Welcome to the stream. I like the thing that Godot gets lots of support and likes because of Unity in the last time. Yeah, it is interesting, like how the whole internet went from, yeah, I guess treated Godot however it was treated before, which I mean is still generally positively, but you know, a lot of Unity people were like, ah, why would I look at that? And then suddenly for it to be like the cool kid on the block, that was fun. So how are you guys doing? How are your projects going? I have not been doing, I mean, other than I was saying I was working on that particles rendering thing, like I haven't been doing all that much on my projects this week. It's just been a kind of insane week. I've been working little bits on like bugs for Godot 4.2 stuff. But that's kind of like it. And yeah, I had mentioned also in the chat before the stream started that in 2 weeks I'm going to GodotCon in Germany. I'm very excited about that. If anyone else is going, like, let me know. I know that GodotCon's not a very big event, so like if you're there, I'm sure we'll see each other and we can hang out. But you know, maybe make an extra effort to go get coffee or something. Anyway, Solo Leveling says, does Godot 4 support pure C++ for game development, or do we have to use GDExtension? I'm not entirely sure what you mean by pure C++. So Godot is written in C++. So one option to extend the engine is to write a Godot module, which Godot is composed of some 50-some modules that are just part of Godot itself. But you can place a custom module just by like making a directory under the modules directory and putting some standard files in it, and that will get compiled and made part of the engine. So that's like the purest way to write C++ code for Godot. Otherwise, GDExtension is a technology that allows you to essentially create modules that are dynamically loaded into the engine, and it isn't specific to C++. There is Godot CPP, which is like the official C++ language binding for GDExtension. I have a tangent rant to go on actually about this. Godot CPP is very specific in its design goals that Godot's CPP tries to give you the same API that you have in the engine. So writing engine code and writing code for Godot CPP should be roughly the same, and that you should be able to make some if-defs so that you can have one piece of code that runs in both contexts. But C++ people, I've been noticing, want to do like really like modern advanced C++y things, which Godot CPP isn't that, right? It's designed to give you the same experience as coding in the engine is, and within the engine, we don't do modern, fancy C++ stuff. So I've been thinking like maybe it makes sense for someone to create a second C++ language binding that doesn't have this design goal that Godot CPP has, which is to be compatible with writing engine code. Like C++ people might actually be happier with C++ language binding that is like using all sorts of stuff from the standard library and like templates and like all the new stuff that's been added in like the more recent C++ standards. But anyway, that is how you can do C++ in Godot, to kind of round that question off. But GDExtension also allows you to write code in Rust or Python or Lua. It's not C++ specific. It's just a C level interface into Godot. Andrea says, I've done lots of learnings about WebGPU in the last few weeks. Cool. I actually don't know that much about WebGPU. The Clean says, I'm going through final visual pass for my cube game. Oh, cool. The Rubik's Cube one? So my game is like 5% done. Finish line is the hardest part. Yeah, the other 100%, or I forget how there's a joke. There's a joke there that I can't quite remember. Awesome. Well, I'm glad everyone out there is doing good. I'm doing pretty good too. Just a little tired, just a little flustered. I don't know why I'm showing my stream to-do list here. Where is Godot? Here is Godot, or the Godot source code. We probably won't actually start up the Godot editor all that much in this particular stream because, like I mentioned earlier, we're going to be working on GDExtension stuff. We are about 2 weeks away-ish from Godot 4.2 being released. We're in the beta cycle, so it's feature freeze. Only bug fixes are being merged, and then usually shortly after the release, there's also a window of a couple weeks where only bug fixes are merged, just to make things easier. The way Godot development works is like we always develop on the master branch, and then those changes get cherry-picked into earlier branches. And so if a whole bunch of feature stuff was merged into the master branch, and we needed to do like a quick hot fix bug thing for the recent stable release, it could get messy, right? Because then the change might not cleanly cherry pick back to the previous version. Anyway, bug fixing is what's going on, and so we are going to do our part. We are going to help fix some bugs, I hope, on this stream for GDExtension. Yeah, let me find where my list is of stuff. So this bug, I have not looked at this bug at all. Or actually, it's a PR, but it's a PR fixing a bug. But my gut feeling, looking at this description, is that this contributor who created this pull request is correct, and we just need to test it. So let's look at what this bug is. So fix return value and rvalid value in variant iter init and variant iter next. So these are functions from Godot CPP that implement iterating over variants, and he is saying variant iteration methods were returning the wrong values from GDExtension API call, never reporting that iterations were valid. This PR makes rvalid be set, as well as return the result from the call instead of returning valid. And then he's got this code here, which I looked over this briefly, and it seems right. The old code is calling to the engine, so this is one of the functions provided by the GDExtension interface. Crosses that boundary between your GDExtension and the engine. It is storing valid in this random variable, but then it is not actually, or no, it is doing something with valid. Okay, so it's passing valid in here, and it's passing valid here, and then returning what we've converted. And his changed version is passing in valid, setting R valid to the converted value, returning the converted result. Okay, so I'm actually, now that I'm looking at this again, a little bit less sure that this is doing the right thing. So I don't know why we need to do the pointer to arg convert again. Like why this is needed here exactly. I mean, maybe just as like a less ugly way to convert from an int pointer to a bool. Well, let's test this. This is the only way to really know here is to test this. So let's get the Godot CPP code, and this is over in variant CPP. Let's actually get, let's fetch the code for this PR. And what PR was this? 1253. 1253. Looks suspicious. 2 times conversion. It's converting a different thing though, but it is a little weird. It does feel suspicious for me too, but maybe for different reasons. We'll see. We'll see. Okay, so variant CPP in Godot CPP, and this is the iter functions. Okay, so how do we actually use these? Iter init. It's returning an iterator, then iter next, iter get. Oh, interestingly, this iter get, which the PR does not modify, does basically the same thing as these ones here. It does a very similar set of changes. Or not changes, but it did. Oh, my brain's all flustered. His changes do a very similar thing as to what is done here. But yeah, let's try to actually use these. I am not entirely sure how they're meant to be used. Do we have these in the engine? I'm assuming we do. Yeah, so we have similarly named functions. Let's just find our way over to, I guess, variant H. Iter init, iter next, iter get. Let's look for some part of the engine that uses this, although it's entirely possible that the engine doesn't use this. These may just exist for supporting GDScript. Yeah, so this is in the GDScript VM, which is really tricky code to read, by the way. I've spent enough time in it that I can sort of guess what's going on, but it's still tricky code. Okay, so when the VM hits opcode iterate begin, we are attempting to init our iterator. And our iterator, what is counter here? It's a variant pointer. And then the container. Okay, I think I can guess how this works. What is this one? What does this iterator represent? Let's just try it. Let's just try to use it. We'll write some code that uses it. We've got the test project in Godot CPP. It's what runs by the CI in the automated tests. And I think that's called example. See if there's any iterator tests already. Nope. All right, so we will make some iterator tests that will also make Godot CPP better if we have something in CI that will actually try to do something with an iterator. So how can we do that? Our tests run in GDScript, where we're going to call some function in GDExtension, and a test will need to kind of return something. How are we going to return something? Okay, so let's say, what if we pass in an array and we return an array and we use the iterate functions to modify the data on the array? So like, let's say we pass an array that's like 10, 20, 30, and we add 5 to each of those values by iterating over them, and then return that. And so GDScript can check if we actually did the addition. I think that sounds reasonable. So test iterator, we'll say test variant iterator, and we'll take an array. Oops. Yeah, maybe I'll even put the +5 in here. No, we'll just say test iterator. We can always, if we need to do more iterator tests, we can change the name later. Do we have to create a variant array in GDScript and do a loop over it? Yeah, I mean, we want to, yeah, we need some way to communicate between the GDScript and GDExtension part of the tests. So I kind of like to keep my CPP files in roughly the same order as the header file. So we'll find where the function above it is implemented, and we'll add this here. All right, and then we'll make an array called output, return output, and all right, we're gonna need a variant to be the iterator. And we need to say if p input, or wait, hang on. We don't want to iterate over an array. We want to iterate over a variant that wraps the array. So should we just take an array? Or I mean, sorry, should we just take a variant? Or should we actually, like, ourselves wrap the array in a variant? Maybe let's wrap it ourselves. So we'll say container and we'll say if container iter init, or not arrow, iter init, and then we'll take the iterator. Oh, and we need something to record is valid. So is valid. Coffee break. And maybe actually we want to check if it's not returning okay. Just like the, where did that GDScript VM code go? Where the heck was that? Oh, I was looking at it in here. Here, let's rearrange my windows so I don't confuse myself. Yeah, so what is the valid actually used for here? It's like we have two separate checks. The return value and the valid. And I'm not sure what the difference is. Like, it looks like valid is only checked when debug is enabled. Otherwise, it just goes for it. Well, this bug is supposed to be fixing valid, so we better check it. And maybe we return something special if it's invalid, so that the GDScript side can test it. So if we get false here, we'll say let's change this up. Let's make it so we can return anything. Say variant. It's always weird writing these tests because we have to like leave ourselves clues. Like we have to pass clues back and forth between the GDScript and GDExtension side to or wait, no, we have another way we can do this. We have a signal that we use in the tests. Oh, but can we emit anything on that signal, or does it have like weird? I think it has weird. It takes weird arguments. It takes a string and an integer. Yeah, I'm gonna go back to my original idea. Let's return a variant here so that we can return like different data depending on which code path we go down. So we'll say return a string like iter init false. Say if not is valid, return iter init not valid. So this is a really weird function. In normal code, you'd never write code like this, where the return value could be so random. It'd create a terrible developer experience. But we're going to do it for these tests. And then we need to loop over this thing, which do we have to call next first, or does it have a valid value right away? I don't know the answer to that question. We may need to look at how some variants implement this. Like, let's go look at iter init. Let's look at how arrays are done. So, okay, so this is just getting the array value from within the variant. If it's empty, it returns false. Otherwise, r iter equals 0, return true. Okay. So in the case of an array, r iter is actually just the index. And then let's go see what well, iter get. I think that'll be pretty obvious. What I want to see is iter next. Yep, it's just using an index. Let's search for iter next. Array, increment the index. Okay, so I think the return false thing is telling us we're done iterating. I think that's what it is. And the valid is telling us whether this is a valid, it's valid to iterate at all. So that's actually going to change, in my mind, how we're going to do this. For if it's false, we just want to return empty. That seems like the right behavior there. So let's change how this works. Is the return value from iter init only the end of the iteration, empty array? Yeah, I think so. That's my interpretation as well. So then we need to say if it's there, then we'll do this check here. Or wait, do we do this check? Where do we do this check? Will it return false if it's not valid? Or do we have to check both things? No, not this one. I want to see in the engine. Let's look at iter init array. So if it's empty, it returns false. This one never checks validity. Valid equals true. Okay, so basically the switch statement addresses all types that are iterable, and it will return false in the case that it's also invalid. Okay, so this goes down here below that check. Although it'll be hard to do that in the positive. Here, we'll keep doing this one in the negative. We'll just return output right away. And then we want to loop over it, but first we need to get the value. I guess we're going to say while, or do while container iter next iter is valid. And the other part of this fixes iter next. Okay, so we need to make sure to check that as well. How are we going to do that? Hmm. So if I check it at the top, then we're checking the is valid from the other one. So we have to say like is init valid? Do something like that. And then in here, we'll do like bool is iter next valid. Here, I think we might want to initialize it to true. This one, I mean, I don't know. It doesn't matter what we initialize it to, really. And then I think we have a valid on iter get as well, don't we? Iter get. Yep, it has a valid there too. Hey, Logan, welcome to the stream. Valid is false only if the variant isn't valid. It's not a variant. Put the is valid check inside the loop. Yeah, we will put a is valid check inside the loop. I just want to make sure that I'm not confusing which valid I am finding here. We're going to do a separate boolean for each check here. So is or not is iter get valid is true. All right. So this will be is iter next valid, which we'll check in here. If not is iter next valid, then we'll return some string we can use in our tests. Next not valid. And then we're going to do our iter get. So we're going to say variant value equals container iter get iter is iter get valid. And then here we'll do a similar check, not is iter get valid, turn iter get not valid. Wow, this turned out to be way more tedious than I thought it was going to be. All right, so then that's all the error cases. The success case is we do push back the value plus 5. And we have to explicitly convert this to which numerical type we want, or that's not how you do that. Hold, mixing programming languages there. All right, that should do it. And do we need to put one more check at the end? I think we might. Okay. Now the question is going to be, how do we make all these different cases happen? That's going to be tricky, or at least the cases that matter for our particular, for this particular PR. Declaration is incompatible. Test variant Godot array input. Why are you saying this to me? Input. It looks compatible. What am I missing? Is that just VS Code losing its mind? Let's find out. We'll run the test. App scans. Or we'll compile the tests. Jeez, my brain is all frazzazzled today. Anyone have any cool plans for the weekend? My sister-in-law is doing a Halloween party that my kids are very excited about tomorrow. I think that's really the only family plans we have. Halloween coming up. There's usually some things going on. The my kids still have Halloween candy left over from last year, so I'm sure this year we'll get another absurd amount of candy that we won't really be able to eat. Okay, I can't really run these tests, but they compiled, so that's good. Let's finish this up. Harry Potter themed Halloween party tomorrow. You have to dress up as your Harry Potter house. Cool. I really dig Harry Potter. It's a shame that J.K. Rowling has gotten herself involved in so many things that have nothing to do with the amazing magical universe that she created. Out of curiosity, Logan, what is your Harry Potter house? Like I don't really know what myself would be. Maybe like Ravenclaw would be perhaps my guess because it's like the intellectual one. Yeah. Hey Ricardo, welcome to the stream. So what are we calling this? Test variant iterator. Oh wait, it does take an argument. It takes an array test variant iterator. And what is the name of the GD script? Main sounds good. Okay. So let's test a successful case first, because that's easy. So we're going to call example test variant iterator. We'll do 10, 20, 30, where we expect the result to be 15, 25, 30. All right, let's rebuild this, give that test a test. Logan's also Ravenclaw. I don't know if you played the recent Harry Potter game, which I quite enjoyed, and there's a guy who makes a VR mod for it, which is also amazing, being able to like stand in those environments, really, really cool. But like playing that just made me I came to the conclusion that Hufflepuff is clearly the best house, like on every metric. But that's only coming from the perspective of that game. Ooh, did I mistype something? Andreas catching my mistakes. Oh, you are correct, sir. 35. Thank you. My superpower is Andreas. All right. We need to run our tests, which I usually have this command all saved up. Well, that doesn't look good. What happened there? I don't really want to have to type this. We'll copy and paste it. I guess let's run this in the editor. That'll give us much better error messages, and then we can see what we've got. So their like tower area, their homeroom is just like amazing. It's like so warm and friendly, and they have the best quests and the nicest, most interesting characters. Like the other houses, the characters are kind of caricatures of themselves. I don't know. I just play the game. It's a pretty decent game too. I mean, it's not really innovative in any kind of way. It's kind of like exactly what you would expect from an open world RPG set in the Harry Potter universe. But it's good. Like it executes on what it's trying to do well. Why is this doing this to me? Path project? Did we call it project? Yes. All right, so we should get a Godot editor that gives us a slightly longer explanation for why our GD extension didn't load. Cannot call non-static. Oh! Yep, sorry, this is Stream Brain. I was writing it as if it was a static function. It is not. So this needs to be lowercase example, the instance of our class, test variant, blah, blah, blah. All right, so let's just try running it from the editor since we have the editor already open. What did we get? Did we get a crash? Did we get... Ooh, okay, we got a failure. 2 failures. Wow, we're doing something wrong. 6, 5. Huh. Okay, well let me check what Godot branch. I'm running on some random PR. What PR is this? That shouldn't cause any problems. I wonder if it returns false before it's done iterating, and that's why we got 2 elements instead of 3. Like, what if iter next returns false when we're on the last element, so we still need to, like, get that element? You know what I mean? And I think we could fix that by doing a, like, while true loop where we break at the right time, perhaps? Let's give that a try. Yeah, how did I get 6, 5? Yeah, very weird input. It's also entirely possible that we found another bug. We'll have to see. That's the joy of working in GDExtension. So many parts have not been fully exercised. If you want to rack up some PRs on the Godot repos, GDExtension's a good place to do that. Okay, so after iter init, it's already pointing at a valid index based on the code we looked at before. So we definitely want to do iter get. And then we do iter next. And perhaps, oh, this is also a little bit ambiguous, or is it? I guess I don't know the precedence rules here, but I don't know. I don't know if that'll make it slightly better. How would we do this? Let me just look at iter next. No, not in GDExtension. Iter next in the engine itself. So iter next for array. We get the array. We get the iter. We increment it. If it is greater than or equal to size, then return false. So actually this shouldn't return false on the last element. I don't think my theory is correct. What in the heck is happening? The debugger. Let's run this with the debugger. We'll have to make some slight changes to our .GDExtension file. You just change the debug so to the .dev one, and we'll need to recompile as a dev build. And let me just check that I have VS Code set up to do this already. Looks like yes. So when this is done compiling, we should be able to get it going. Andrea says 1, 2, 3. I'm not sure what you mean, like that we should try putting in 1, 2, 3? I don't know if some of your messages have been getting lost there. Weaponized Battle Toaster, welcome to the stream. Did you try turning it on and off again? Maybe, sort of. Depends on how you define off. All right, so let's run it in the debugger. Oh, I didn't set any breakpoints though. That's not helpful. Let me go set some breakpoints and then try that again. Example CPP. Let's set a breakpoint like right here. And let's go. Okay, so let's see what happens. So we're doing container init. Unfortunately, it's really hard to tell if the data we have already is valid, because on the GDExtension side we just get these opaque chunks of memory. But we can say we go here. Okay, it didn't return false. It didn't return invalid. I'm gonna go here. This should be true already because it's our first loop. All right. Now iter get. This is where it's going to get interesting. I'm going to step into, and it did not step into. All right, we'll place an explicit breakpoint, and we will go into the engine code for variant. This was iter get, I think what we care about. How come I'm not seeing it? Oh, variant set get is apparently what that file is called. Variant set get iter get. We're going to land ourselves here. Also, when we switch over to the engine side, we will have access to more information, which is always nice. Let's rerun this. All right. Oh, and it's probably going to come here a million times, because other things are obviously going to loop over arrays. All right, here's what I'll do. I will mute this breakpoint temporarily. All right, now we're in our thing, so I'm going to unmute this breakpoint. And then let's just hit next and see where we land. Okay, so now we're in the code that got changed. Now I'm going to hit it again, and we should go into the engine. Go into the engine. It didn't go into the engine. Why not? Why is my debugger being so weird? Battle Toaster, is GDScript statically typed? It is a dynamically typed language that you can put optional typing into. I guess I wouldn't call them type hints, because they are real types. When you type something in GDScript, it really does store it in memory as the type that you set, such that if you could do some things with the bytecode that would make the program crash because it'd be trying to use memory of a different type in the wrong way or whatever. So I mean, it's real types. I guess I'll say optionally statically typed. That's probably the best way to describe it, because it's real type hints, not like it's real types, not like type hints, but it's optional. Why are we not getting into the engine here though? This is so weird. Like, this should for sure. Let's go look at the engine side of this code. I think it's just my debugger being really, really frustrating. I mean, I can set a breakpoint here. We know we have to get here because we're calling this function. Yeah, not this time. Not this time. Not this time. Different time. Doing too much array iteration. Okay, I have to do this thing again where I mute this breakpoint and then unmute it. So we're here, then we should cross the border. Almost. This is maddening. The debugger might not be able to help us. I do not want to get stuck on this one first PR for the entire stream. I mean, maybe that happens. But we might have to resort to like print statements. I just don't know what is up with the debugger. Bro, my neighbors below are giving me a presentation on the invasion of Poland. Interesting. Which invasion of Poland? That's a horrible question to have to ask, actually, but like maybe you have to use iter get before the do while loop once? Possibly, but that's... Wait, I am using iter get before... Like, it should go straight from iter init to here. I don't think how that would be different. I mean, maybe I need to use iter next before, but like, it didn't look like it in the code. We could just try it. Let's go to our tests here. Or this is the wrong terminal. Oh, I ended up in this terminal. All right. We built it. I'm just going to run it without doing the debugger stuff. Oh, come on. Now we just got 6. I wish the debugger was working. This would be so much easier to debug with the debugger. And it's like it's not even getting called. At least with the way the debugger's running. Okay, to make sure that the code that we think is running is even running, let's put in some print statements. So that would be GDExtension interface CPP iter next, which just has to be running. I mean, it has to be. Printf hi. Recompile you. Or iter next isn't the one we care about, is iter get, actually, that we're trying to get data from. So let's switch that up. Stop the presses. Stop building. All right, Logan, thanks for stopping by. Take care. So now that I understand more about the way that the function signature for this works, I'm more convinced that what this guy's doing is right. We're getting valid. We're setting it to rvalid. That's what we want. We're converting the result that we're returning. It does seem like a little bit of overkill to use the pointer to arg template here, but it's fine. Like, we know what that does, or at least I think we know what that does. I think these are actually all defined in macros, but or no, I'm typing in the wrong box. This is file searching for the file name. Pointer to arg. Just where's the definition of this? Yeah, so make pointer arg conv for bool. Yeah. Convert. Yeah, I mean, it's just dereferencing the pointer and then implicitly casting it from its uint 8t to bool. So, I mean, we could have had this code in there. All right, so what were we doing? We were recompiling this to get a printf statement. Then we're going to run the tests. And it says hi. God, I just wish the debugger would let us step in there. What on earth could I be doing wrong here? Let's... So container iter init, drop in here, passing in our own native pointer, the iter's native pointer, not to valid. Get an iter init itself, taking the variant pointer. We're creating a new variant there. So actually, we don't even need to have initialized the variant that we pass in. That's a little weird. So, okay, so it initializes the variant. So it's now a new null value. And then we're casting that to this iter pointer. Okay, so I think this is just so that for typing, we're just getting the right type there. And an iter init here is taking a variant reference, so that's fine. We're not really dereferencing it, it's staying as a pointer. Go to iter next. It's doing a very similar thing. Iter next. It's getting the type of the container. I just don't see why our breakpoints aren't happening. What if I try running this from this other instance of VS Code? This shouldn't make any difference whatsoever, honestly, but let's try it. Oh, I'm also curious, which debugger am I using in this one? Okay, I'm using LLDB, which is the one I've had better luck with. Yeah, let's just try it. Launch. And I'm going to run. I probably have a commented out one for this already. Yes, I do. So get rid of this other one I copied. Okay, so we're going to run that project. We're going to have to set our breakup points up in this instance of VS Code. Let's go to GDExtension interface. Iter next. We just want to land anywhere in here. And let's run it. Wojak. No witam. Okay, we are. All right, we hit a breakpoint. We hit a breakpoint. So let me walk up the stack here, and let's set some more breakpoints in here, just so I can find my way back. All right, okay, so we actually hit a breakpoint. That's great. Let's take a look at the data. Let's step down a little bit here, and let's take a look at this data. So the self array, we have some data. I don't think a packed array is going to give us anything. Yeah, we can't really see the memory very good in here either. Let's just step into here. So we should land at array. Get the iterator index. Index is 0. Wait, which one are we on? Are we doing next? We must be doing next. Yeah, iter next. Okay. I was more interested in iter get, I think, but that's fine. So then, yeah, let's just let's go back over to here. Let's do iter get. Why will you not place a breakpoint there? That is so weird. Well, let's go to GDExtension interface. Iter get. We'll put a breakpoint here, which it just does not want to place breakpoints here either. All right. What? Maybe I need to recompile this, like maybe the lines got misaligned. Yeah, I guess what kind of invasion are we talking about? Okay, let's stop this. Let's recompile over here. I have no idea why the lines aren't lining up. Oh, it does think it needs to recompile. Okay. The one that started World War II. And England comes in defense of Poland. Okay, so we landed here. That's cool. Let's step over here. What I really want is to get into here, step into. I guess we'll just say forward because that should get us to. Why didn't it get me to iter get? something just really fishy is going on. Like, I mean, 99% chance the fishiness that's going on is the debugger. But it is so frustrating. Guys, look at this line. It's calling iter next instead of iter get. Is that really in the source code here? I think it's calling the wrong function. We may have found a Godot bug. All right. Yeah. Oh, you saw it too, Andreas. You probably saw it before me, and I just wasn't looking at the comments. So then, what were we? It was returning. Wait, iter get is literally wait. No, okay. It's returning to our ret. It was making a variant out of the result of iter next, which should just be a bool. How are we getting 5 and 6? Yeah, let's just... Is this actually running it? It looks like it's running it. Whatever, I'm just gonna kill you. Let's just run it now that we have those changes. All right, so we're getting a different failure, which sucks. Like, we shouldn't be getting any failures. But that fixed it. Yeah. Okay. Let's make a PR to Godot to fix that issue. So what's in this diff? Let's make sure it's clean. It looks pretty clean. Let's do git checkout master, git pull upstream master, git status, git diff. Okay. Wait, let's make a new branch. Say GDExtension iter get. GDExtension. What is the actual name of the GDExtension interface function? It is, I guess, variant iter get. GDExtensions variant iter get is, or we'll say fix. Or hang on, I know how I'll write this. GDExtension fix actually calling iter next. GDExtension iter get. And do I have a browser window? Yep. Continue to GitHub. While attempting to test the test PR, this one, oop, let me go to the actual. I discovered that GDExtensions variant iter get was actually calling variant iter next, probably a copy paste mistake. Set some labels here. It is a bug. It is in GDExtension. We'll put it on 4.2 because why not? I don't know if the production team will actually merge it for 4.2, but it's a bug. It's a simple bug. We will say that. Actually, let's just quick take a look at the other iter functions if they're calling what they're supposed to. So iter init is calling the right thing. Iter next is calling the right thing. It was just iter get doing the wrong thing here. All right. Any other labels or things or anything we should do? Fidget with my punctuation here. Okay. Weaponized battle toaster may be a little too weaponized. He says, he found what's wrong with his code, unlike me. He also didn't destroy the back of a bus in rage because of his errors. I think you need to de-weaponize a little bit. Weaponized battle toaster. All right, so back to what we were actually working on. Our passing test passed. What we want to test, though, is actually the things that this original PR is fixing. Which is that it actually sets valid when something's invalid. So iter init will return invalid when we pass something that isn't actually iterable. And when will iter next return invalid? Let's go to variant set get. So iter next. Oh, it's the same deal. You have to call iter next on something that is not actually iterable, but we would never get to that point because we would have exited out before now when initting it. I don't know if there's a good way to test that without making a very, very contrived test. I mean, like, how would we have the iterator in the first place to call iter next? If we're just going to pass some random value and say it's an iterator, that also wouldn't work. Yeah, how do we get an R valid to false? I'm so weaponized, I'm part of the presentation. So let's try, or wait, it's main GD. I think we can get the first R valid to false if we pass something that's not iterable. What is a basic variant type that's obviously not iterable? Because a lot of things that I didn't think were iterable are iterable. Like variants and integers and floats. Floats are iterable. That's interesting. String, dictionary, all the packed arrays. I guess let's look at the type enum and see what it's got that might not be iterable. Nil. That's an easy one. Oh, rect, plain, AABB. Let's just do null. And then we should get iter init not valid. So that will definitely get one of our not valids. The rest of them, I really don't know how to trigger them. Ooh, why didn't that? What did I do? I'm not sure. I'm not sure what I did. Let's kill this. We'll open it up in the editor because that'll give us more debug output. Yeah, I mean, it looks like we can look at the code and see how float iterators work. So if you are if you are iterating a float, the index is another float, another double, and it just increments it by 1. That's real weird. So I've never tried this, but presumably in GDScript, you could say for x in 3.5, and that would iterate, I guess, 3 times for 0, 1, 2, and 4 times, and 3. And then once you got the next iteration, you'd get 4, which is greater than 3.5. So it's almost like iterating over a truncated integer version of it. That's interesting. Failed to load. Parse argument should be array, but is null. Okay, we literally can't pass an invalid value in here because we are passing a array and not a variant. So let's change this. So example h, we're going to say test variant iterator. It's going to take a variant instead of an array. Let's bounce back to the implementation of that. Const variant. And then we don't need to do this, but everywhere we do container needs to now be p input. So let's recompile that. That also kind of changes what we call the argument in bind methods. Instead of array, I guess we'll just call this input. Not that it really matters. I'm sorry for all the yawns. I need some more coffee or some more sleep. One of those options is the healthy option, and the other one is the option I will choose. That is weird. Okay, so which line? 25? What? 25? Okay. Test base. Okay, so 189. So what we care about is what happens on 189. So it's actually returning. It's actually returning an iterator. We probably returned too early. Or not returning iterator. Jeez. Returning an empty array. My brain is so frizzazzled. So let's go back to here. Yeah, so what we need to do is check this in here. It's the only place it needs to be checked. O-juice? What is O-juice? Let's kill all the things. Kill all the things! Orange juice, okay. I've only ever seen that be OJ, like where they're both letters. Because you could, I mean, or I guess you could say orange J. It still makes it, it does make it sound very mysterious though. Like what is the O? What is the J? Prices of groceries in Australia are ridiculous. Like, I mean, so just buying coffee at the store, like buying coffee that you brew in your house at the store is too expensive? That's unsettling. I guess I'd be getting a lot more sleep if I was in Australia then though. All right, let's try running this. All right, we're still getting this one failure. What is this failure about? We're not changing anything that should lead to this failure, right? Like, I guess I should check that. But yeah, it ran, it did it. Let's reevaluate this test a little bit, because so many of these cases are just not going to happen. And so maybe what we need to do here is not return a string, but let's just say we'll just return null. Or not null, that's not a thing. Or I guess variant, that's null, that's a null variant. No, I don't know. I kind of like the strings. It's very explicit, but we're not going to be able to trigger these other ones. We're only going to be able to trigger the first one. And when should we actually do these checks? Well, this seems fine. Okay, yeah, let's leave the test as it is, I think. I'm going to start a new branch to hold this stuff. This will be PR 1253 tests. I'm not going to commit part of this, the part that I did just so we could run the debugger. So let me get rid of that, those changes. Or actually, no, I'll do it the safer way. I will explicitly add the changes I want rather than getting rid of changes I don't want. That seems good. Commit these tests for PR. It was 1251, 1253 for 1253 for PR 1253, and then I'm going to check out master and just oh, because there's okay, fine. We will get rid of those changes. Let's check out master and run the tests. Get upstream. Let's push to my fork. Let's go to tests. Let's compile. And let's just make sure that those tests, let's try and figure out what the deal is with that test that's failing that shouldn't fail, like the one that succeeded before. $12 just for a box of instant coffee. Wow. That is insane. That is insane. That's crazy. Like, I mean, compared to like a Starbucks or something, that's still astronomically cheaper than a Starbucks, but like, wow, $12. That's nuts. How does the test? If so, it should be fine. How big of a box is it? I guess, yeah. If it's high quality and like a large enough quantity, but I don't know, like I buy just like these kind of jar things of instant coffee, and they're just a couple of dollars. I don't know. I don't even remember. It costs so little I don't think about it. If I were to randomly guess a cost, I would guess like $4 is what those are. Although prices have gotten kind of crazy here too. So I'm not sure. Next time I'm at the store though, I'm checking the price, and I'm gonna be saying either at least I'm not in Australia, or holy crap, I didn't realize these got so expensive. Or maybe both things. Maybe I'll be saying both things. All right, so the tests pass here. Why don't they pass on the other one? Git checkout. That was PR 1253. Let's compile just with without the new tests I've added. I wonder if the way I added the tests somehow broke the previous tests. That's a possibility. I've seen a Starbucks once in Sydney. Well, Starbucks by me is a plague that has spread everywhere. You cannot go very far without running into another Starbucks. So I guess you should be lucky for that. No, it fails just on this PR. Oh, I wonder if this needs to be rebased. Let's do git checkout b PR 1253. Or no, that doesn't make any sense because whenever it was branched from, should have been passing. And the tests pass here. Or, okay, maybe it needs to be rebased in order to work with a current times version of Godot, because this was from September 24th. Let me try that. Let's rebase anyway. Git checkout b PR 1253 rebased. Git rebase master. So now let's scans it. Oh, we should also do the thing where we run the tests without his change and make sure that they fail correctly. That's also an important thing. Yeah, so the input H thing is another test that is testing something with events. Yeah, we're like pushing an input event key to the node and making sure that it gets received correctly. So here's the test for that. All right, so now we've rebuilt. There we go. Okay, so what it is they're using a version of Godot CPP from a month ago, and there have been changes to Godot master since then that need other changes in Godot CPP since then in order to succeed. So let's go back to our one with the tests, PR 1253 tests. And what we want to do is sort of like strategically, surgically remove this dude's changes. So we'll say git diff from this change to the change before, which if I'm doing that right, should be a patch that undoes it. Yep. And we will pipe that to patch, which didn't work because I'm in the wrong directory. All right. Now it worked. So that should remove his changes, but maintain our tests. So now if I go compile the tests, we should get a failure because without his changes, our valid won't be set correctly. So let's see what happens. The presentation has ended, and I'm very confused about it. All right, so let's run the tests. And they fail to run. At some point, I need to fix the... There's like a sort of class of error that just makes the tests hang forever. It's really frustrating, and I have to do this kill all thing. All right, let's run this in the editor and see what this is about. Come on. So where the editor ran. Did you give me some nice errors? You did not. Let's press play. Start it up. We're not getting anywhere. Oh, here we go. Ooh, infinite loop. All right. Yeah, I bet passing in that null that doesn't return if it's valid or not just causes it to iterate for infinity. Okay. Well, I would say that his changes fix the problem. Now my terminal is permanently stuck red. Let's start a new one. Get rid of this old one. So we are going to remove the changes we made, which were kind of like undoing his changes. We're going to package our tests up into a patch. We'll say PR 1253 tests patch. Just quick review them, make sure they look right. Oops. Yeah, it looks good to me. And we're going to go post some stuff here. But before I do that, I need to run to the bathroom really quick. Too much coffee. So much discussion of coffee today. But I'll be back in a second. All right, sorry about that. I have returned. Let's see. I guess in internext and interget, you cannot react to the valid equals false line. Yeah, I mean, there's nothing we could do to test those presently, but in Poland, 100 grams of decent, cheapish instant coffee is around 4 USD, which sounds about right to me. You can get really stuff around 15. I know you're thinking, or if it's a 100 gram box. I hope he's not using AWS, that infinite loop. Yeah, wow. Oh, the Germans seem to have pretty affordable coffee as well. All right. So I made the patch, and we're going to post a comment here. So I'm going to write the changes look good to me. Can I attach a patch from this window? Yes, I can. Where did I put that patch, actually? I just wrote it right here. That's a crummy place to put it. Let me put it in my downloads directory. Downloads. Ugh, I'll have to rename it to text or something. I've made some. Attached is a patch that adds some automated tests to ensure that at least iter init is working correctly. It's tricky to test iter next because you shouldn't even be able to get to that point if your correctly checking are valid on iter init. Your changes look correct. Anyway, unfortunately, the tests won't pass until PR is fixed in Godot. So I'll make a PR. Actually, yeah. So I'll make a PR later that adds these tests. Okay, let's nicen this up a little bit. So say thanks. The changes look good to me. The thanks is what nicened it up. And we need to change the type of our patch. Let's make a new terminal really quick. Yeah, wherever I'm going to go to a different directory anyway. DL, we're going to say move PR 1253 to PR text. Downloads, text one. And it just stuck it right in the middle of that sentence. Fabulous. I'll put it at the end like this. That's pretty good. Thanks, changes look good to me. Attaches a patch that adds some. Oh, I should actually say that I've tested them too. Changes look good to me and seem to work in my testing. Attaches a patch that adds some automated tests to ensure that at least iter init is working correctly. It's trigger test next because you shouldn't even be able to get to that point if you're correctly checking are valid on iter init, but your changes look correct anyway. Fortunately, tests won't pass until PR is fixed in Godot, so I'll make a PR later that adds these tests. Make a follow-up PR later. All right. And is this a first-time contributor? It is. Awesome. So let me just make sure this link works, because odds are I'm going to lose the patch or forget the name of my branch in the amount of time between now and when this thing is fixed. Yep, that looks good. And we can merge this. This applies also to 4.1, so we'll put the cherry pick 4.1 on it. So set the milestone for X. I don't know why I didn't do that earlier. Okay, cool. With the power vested in me by the GDExtension team, I hereby merge this pull request. Say congrats on your first merged PR. Cool. All hail the Git. Jeez. The 150 grams of instant coffee for 11.5. Although I don't know how exactly the Australian dollar compares to the US dollar. Well, that's a big difference, but which direction? Oh, I'm so bad at this conversion thing. So it looks like so okay, so 60% cheaper in USD. if this is to be believed. I don't know how accurate Googling it is. Congrats to the PR creator, to Gilzoid here. All right, we have 20 minutes left. What else can we do in that time? Let me, where do I have my list? This should be an easy one to review. 20 minutes should be more than enough. We'll review a PR that Remy made. Aken, I don't know how to pronounce his username. To disable exceptions by default. And he's definitely better at build system stuff than me. So overall, I trust that he knows what he's doing. I just want to test it. So let's do that. This is 12:16. Let's go. Actually, we don't need this window anymore. Let's get rid of that. Here we are. Check out master, git fetch upstream, git checkout. Oh, actually, yeah, let's pull it down. Because we just merged something. Git checkout, and I've already forgotten the PR number. It is 12:16. So let's go to the tests. I always test with the tests as opposed to just compiling it straight up. So let's say scans verbose equals yes. That's to allow us to make sure that the option is set. It's -f, no exceptions, I think. Oh, come on. Do I have to control S you? All right, you've been control S'd. Here we go. -f, no exceptions. It's being added correctly. And then what is it? Control Q that on S's us? There we go. Control Q. Let that resume. There's two more things I want to test. I want to test that the option to say that we want exceptions works. And then I want to test that a sub-project can disable this. So like that would be not a sub-project, like a project that is including the scans file from Godot CPP, that it can disable it without having to require users to remember to like pass an option like, oh, this extension actually needs exceptions. So let's run the tests. Bam, it works. Whoa, when did Remy branch this? There's only 70 tests? It's an older one, I guess. Or let's just see what he branched from. It's converting, merging into master. Still, it's a little weird. Or maybe it's all the way back from, but he said he rebased it. Rebased, didn't compile to test though. 37AF, let's just make sure we have the right commit. We do not. This is the wrong commit. All right. What we want to do is git reset hard upstream PR 12:16. There we go, 37AF. Wow, I'm glad that I noticed that, because otherwise this test is totally bogus if I don't actually build the thing. Oh, so we have to start over again. So I have to say scans verbose equals yes. Hey, Patrick, welcome to the stream. We are doing GDExtension stuff today. Very apropos to your interests. Although I guess we were doing VR, which is still like apropos to your interests because you're working on the AR core stuff. The tests do test. The most important test for any test is whether it tests. Hey, there we go. 77 passes, what you would expect. I wasn't actually paying attention to if the option was in here. So let's go take a look. F no exceptions. Beautiful. Now we need to test the command line option, and we need to test doing some magic in our subscons. So what is the actual option that it adds? Disable exceptions. So let's go here. Scons disable exceptions equals no, and verbose equals yes. So we should now see. We should not see, I guess I should say. It's harder to check if something's not there than if something is there. Should not see the F no exceptions. All right, seems to have worked. I guess we don't really need for that to finish. And then I already wrote a note past me, wrote a note that will tell me how to do this next part of the test. All right, I also tried putting this in a GDExtension. Let's try that again. Thank you, September 7th, David. You've been very helpful. All right, so I believe I need to put that somewhere around here. Oops. No, this is the wrong construct. I'm doing the wrong thing. We want to be in the construct for the tests. This one. This is the construct. All right, so I think I want to put it somewhere around here. And let's see if that works. So now I should be able to run it without the command line option, but to still have it not include the F no exceptions. We'll just kill it. We don't need to pause it. No, it didn't work. It did not succeed. All right. I guess past David did not give me enough information. Did I do it like I may have done it differently. So with sconscript, can I pass in some stuff? Or maybe what I did was env equals environment this, and then export env. Is that how you do that? Let's see if that's valid code. What did it say at the top? Ugh, it wrote too many things too fast. Okay, run and then stop. Unknown scons variables. Verbose equals yes is ignored? Okay, let's try this again. F no exceptions. No, it's still saying it. Okay, so I guess I don't need to actually say verbose because that appears to not do anything. Well, I'm trying to disable the disabling of exceptions. Apparently this worked last time. Oh, I should have read more of this comment. Okay, so Godot CPP still compiled with no exceptions, but the user code didn't, which is actually probably what we want, so I think it's fine in that regard. All right. Rewind. Start over. What we are looking for is that Godot CPP will still compile with F no exceptions, but the code for this GDExtension that's outside of Godot CPP, that's like part of the tests, shouldn't compile with it. So let's try this. So we'll have to let it compile all the way to the end because it won't do the user code until the end. or not at all in this case. Let's clean and then try again. While we're waiting for that, I'm gonna just go here. And we can resolve this conversation. We can resolve this conversation. And this slowdown of the fans on my computer leads me to believe that this has finished. Okay, so this is some linking time. Let's get back up to the compiling time. This one, it's still compiling stuff from Godot CPP. I thought it put the user code at the end. Maybe not. We can make it do just the user code though. If we delete the object files, source. If we say remove source star.os, and then we run scans again, it should just do the user code. Yep, sorry, example CPP. No, it's still doing F no exceptions. And disable exceptions. That's what it's called. It's called disable exceptions. I wonder if it's not working anymore because these options moved into this tool, into the Godot CPP tool. So these options are added by the options function here, and the work is actually done in the generate function here. If we go look at the construct for CPP here, oop, knocked over my water bottle. Where's the Godot CPP tool actually used? Here we go, down here. Library env Godot CPP. What if we do it the other way that I was trying? So construct test. We go back to this env equals environment. This export env. And then maybe we don't do this equals, although it really shouldn't matter. Wait, why am I in the Godot 4 VS Code? Okay, I'm just bouncing between VS Code windows in a totally nonsensical way. So we're going to remove that file. I'm going to compile again. See if that had the desired effect. It did not. It's still doing F no exceptions. Why is that? I thought I was just going to test this, see that it works, and approve it, honestly. Does scan-script take arguments in some way that we can use here? Scan-script docs. Or no, not 2.0. It's ancient. Oh, this is just the man page? Scan-script function. Take me there! Exports env. We can try calling it like that. See if that works. Exports equals env, which I guess then means we don't need that. Let's try. Oh, I have to delete those object files first. Still says F no exceptions. Exports, var builder, duplicate. Opts. Where does opts go in here? Exports, opts. Okay, let's try that, see if that does what we want. Disable exceptions. And I'm in the wrong VS Code window again. Okay, it put the right thing here? All right. Key error platform. Okay, so that seems to have been too extreme. That's gone a little too far. Let's maybe go like this. Still says F no exceptions. Okay, well, this is what our review comment's going to be. I tested this and running with and it does add. Or I tested this with scans because there were also some CMake changes, but I'm not going to test those. And it does add F no exceptions like expected, and running with scans disable exceptions equals no works too. However, I wasn't able to find a way to re-enable exceptions. I was able to find a way to re-enable exceptions in a construct that uses the Godot CPP construct. So the idea is, if a developer makes a GD extension that needs exceptions, they'll want their construct to enable them without having to tell users to run scans disable exceptions equals no. I tried doing, let's put in all the stuff we tried. I tried doing here we'll use the undo button to get everything I tried doing. I tried doing I guess let's take this one first. Equals false. Actually, we'll change this up a little bit because in a user's one it would look something like that. And a bunch of variations on that, like Python env disable exceptions false, but nothing I tried allowed me to pass that option down into Godot CPP's construct. Based on my earlier comment. Let's get a link to this guy. Copy link. Earlier comment. It seems I got this to work on an earlier version. Perhaps it's moving. Perhaps it's moving so much to the tools Godot CPP pie that's changed things. I'm just verifying that that's actually the name of the file. Tools Godot CPP. Tools Godot CPP. All right. Yeah, it's gonna be awesome. Being able to meet up in GodotCon. Oof. Things have been tricky with doing AR core. I will find a way to re-enable exceptions in a construct that uses. So the idea is if a developer makes a GDExtension that needs exceptions, they want this construct to enable them without having to tell users to run disable exceptions. No, I tried doing and environment and a bunch of variations on that, but nothing I tried allowed me to pass that option down into Godot CPP's construct. Based on my earlier comment above, it seems I got this to work on an earlier version. Perhaps it's moving some much. Perhaps we'll just say moving to the that's changed things. All right, I will post that as my comment. That is my review. If we can have this working, I think this is ready to merge. If we can just get that one thing going. Well, that brings us to the regularly scheduled end of our stream. Thank you so much, everyone, for coming. It was a good stream. We didn't accomplish nearly as much as I thought we would, but I think that's every stream. Every stream, I think we're going to do like 5 things, and we did 2. But it was fairly fruitful. I mean, we reviewed this. We reviewed and merged this one. And we were able to find a Godot bug that no one had noticed up until now and get another PR in there. So, yeah, successful stream. Hope you all have a great weekend. Thanks again. Take care. Bye-bye.